The stars shimmered like tiny diamonds scattered across the endless black canvas of space. A massive alien warship floated silently in orbit around a blue planet that seemed almost too peaceful to notice. The ship belonged to the Vryliths, an insectoid species with sleek, armored bodies and glowing bioluminescent patterns that pulsed faintly as they moved. Their leader, Commander Calyx, stood on the bridge, his sharp mandibles clicking impatiently as he studied the holographic display of the planet below. "This world is primitive," Calyx said, his voice low and raspy, echoing through the chamber. "No advanced weaponry, no orbital defenses. They won't even know what hit them." His second-in-command, a smaller but equally menacing Vrylith named Vrax, tilted his head slightly. "Commander, are you certain this is wise? We've seen civilizations underestimate their enemies before." Calyx waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Their cities are exposed, their technology laughable. This will be quick. Send Zixer to scout the surface and eliminate any resistance. Once we confirm their weakness, we'll proceed with the main assault." Zixer was not like the other Vryliths. It was a biomechanical assassin, part machine and part living organism, designed for stealth and precision. Its body shimmered with metallic scales, and its razor-sharp appendages could slice through steel as easily as paper. Zixer obeyed without question, descending toward the planet in a sleek pod that burned brightly as it entered the atmosphere. On Earth, life continued as usual. In a quiet coastal town in South Korea, Ji-yeon knelt by the edge of the ocean, carefully collecting water samples in small glass vials. She was a marine biologist, passionate about studying the mysteries hidden beneath the waves. Her dark hair was tied back loosely, and her face bore traces of sunburn from long hours spent outdoors. Nearby, her younger brother Hae-jun tinkered with an old drone he had found at a scrapyard. "Ji-yeon, look at this!" Hae-jun called out excitedly, holding up the drone. "I think I can fix it, maybe even make it fly again." Ji-yeon smiled warmly at her brother. Hae-jun had always been good with machines, spending most of his free time taking things apart and putting them back together. He was only 20, but his hands were already calloused from years of working as a mechanic. "That's great, Hae-jun," she replied, though her mind was elsewhere. Lately, there had been strange readings coming from deep beneath the ocean floor, unusual seismic activity that didn't match any known patterns. Ji-yeon couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, neither sibling noticed the shadow passing overhead. Zixer's pod landed silently several kilometers away, near the cliffs overlooking the sea. The assassin emerged, its movements fluid and deliberate as it scanned the area for signs of intelligent life. It didn't take long for Zixor to detect movement nearby. Following the faint vibrations of footsteps, it crept closer until it spotted Ji-yeon still crouched by the water's edge. She seemed oblivious to the danger lurking just behind her. With a swift motion, Zixer extended one of its blade-like appendages, aiming directly at her back. But something unexpected happened. As the blade shot forward, Ji-yeon instinctively turned and caught it midair. Her hand closed around the sharp edge as if it were nothing more than a harmless stick. Zixer froze, its glowing eyes narrowing in confusion. No human should have been able to react so quickly, or survive contact with its weapons. Ji-yeon stared at the blade in her hand, her heart pounding. For a moment she thought she must be dreaming, but the cold metal pressing against her palm felt all too real. Slowly she looked up and met Zixor's gaze. "What are you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Zixor didn't respond. Instead, it retracted the blade and leapt backward, disappearing into the shadows. Ji-yeon stumbled to her feet, and clutching the vial she had been holding so tightly that it nearly shattered. "Hae-jun!" she shouted, running back toward where her brother was working. "Hae-jun, we need to go! Now!" Hae-jun looked up, startled by the urgency in her voice. "What's wrong? Did you see something?" "I don't know what it was," Ji-yeon admitted, grabbing his arm and pulling him toward their car. "But it wasn't human." Unbeknownst to them, Zixer had already transmitted images and data back to the Vrylith warship. Commander Calyx watched the footage intently, his mandibles twitching with irritation. "This human female, she shouldn't exist," he growled. "Her reflexes, her strength, they defy logic. How could such a primitive species produce someone like her?" Vrax hesitated before speaking. Perhaps we underestimated them. Should we reconsider our approach? No, Kalix snapped. We'll crush them regardless. But first, I want to know everything about this woman. Capture her alive if possible. If not, he let the sentence hang ominously. Back on Earth, chaos erupted as massive energy beams rained down from the sky, striking cities across the globe. Buildings crumbled, fires spread, and panic consumed the population. News reports flooded social media, showing terrified people fleeing in every direction. Ji-yoon and Hae-jun watched the devastation unfold on their phone screens as they sped away from the coast. Neither of them spoke. The weight of what they had witnessed and narrowly escaped was too much to process. We need answers, Ji-yoon finally said, breaking the silence. Whatever those things are, they're not here to negotiate. And somehow, I'm involved. Hae-jun glanced at her, concern etched on his face. You think they'll come after us? I know they will, Ji-yoon replied grimly. And when they do, we'd better be ready. That night, under the cover of darkness, Zigzor returned to the cliffs. It searched for any trace of the woman who had defied its attack, but found nothing. Frustration coursed through its mechanical systems as it realized its mission had failed. For now. Far away, safe in a makeshift hideout, Ji-yoon sat alone, staring at her hands. She flexed her fingers, marveling at how normal they looked despite what had happened earlier. Something inside her had changed, though she couldn't explain it. Whatever it was, she knew it wasn't over. The world was burning. Fires raged in cities across the globe, and smoke filled the skies like a suffocating blanket. The Vrylith attack had come without warning, leaving humanity scrambling to understand what was happening. Governments scrambled to respond, but their weapons seemed useless against the alien invaders. In the midst of this chaos, Ji-yoon and Hae-jun drove through deserted roads, heading toward Seoul. They hoped to find answers, and perhaps a way to fight back. Ji-yoon couldn't stop thinking about the creature she had encountered on the cliffs. Its glowing eyes haunted her dreams, and the memory of catching its blade replayed endlessly in her mind. She didn't know how or why she had done it, but she knew one thing for certain. She wasn't ordinary anymore. Whatever had changed inside her, it was connected to the strange events unfolding around them. Hae-jun, meanwhile, Hanoi was focused on practical matters. He had brought along his repaired drone, which he believed might hold clues to understanding the aliens' technology. If we can figure out how their stuff works, he said as they drove, maybe we can use it against them. Ji-yoon nodded absently, her thoughts elsewhere. She glanced at her phone again, scrolling through news reports of destruction and despair. One headline caught her attention. Mysterious survivor in coastal town defies alien weapon. Below it was a blurry photo of her standing by the ocean, moments before Zigzor attacked. Someone must have been filming from afar. They're looking for me, Ji-yoon murmured, showing the article to Hae-jun. He frowned. That means the aliens aren't the only ones hunting us. We need to stay off the grid. When they reached Seoul, the city was eerily quiet. Streets that were usually bustling with life were now empty, save for abandoned cars and shattered glass. The siblings made their way to a research facility where Ji-yoon had once worked. It was partially damaged, but some areas still had power. Inside, they found remnants of experiments and equipment scattered everywhere. This is perfect, Hae-jun said, examining a computer terminal. If there's anything here about those seismic readings you mentioned, it could help explain what's going on with you. Ji-yoon began searching through files while Hae-jun tinkered with his drone. Hours passed, and just when they thought they'd hit a dead end, Ji-yoon stumbled upon something shocking. Hidden deep within classified documents was information about an experimental project conducted years ago. Scientists had released nanobots into the environment to study their ability to adapt to threats. These nanobots were designed to bond with living organisms, enhancing their resilience. It's me, Ji-yoon whispered, staring at the screen. I must have been exposed to these nanobots somehow. That's why I'm different. Hae-jun looked over her shoulder, his brow furrowed. So, you're like a superhuman now? I don't know, Ji-yoon admitted. But if we can amplify this effect, maybe I can do more than just survive. Maybe I can fight back. As they worked, they weren't alone for long. A group of survivors discovered them hiding in the facility. Among them was Min-soo, a former soldier with a stoic demeanor and a sharp eye for danger. His face bore scars from battles fought long before the alien invasion, and his presence commanded respect. "You two look like you've got a plan," Minsu said gruffly, stepping forward. "Mind sharing it?" Ji-eun hesitated but decided honesty was their best option. She explained everything: the encounter with Zixor, the nanobots, and her newfound abilities. To her surprise, Minsu didn't laugh or dismiss her story. Instead, he nodded thoughtfully. "We've seen stranger things lately," he said. "If you think you can take these bastards down, count me in." With Minsu's help, the group fortified the facility, turning it into a temporary base of operations. Together, they scavenged supplies and gathered intelligence about the Vrylith's movements. Hae-jun continued modifying his drone, adding components salvaged from alien wreckage recovered during earlier skirmishes. One evening, as Ji-eun practiced controlling her enhanced reflexes, disaster struck. Zixor appeared outside the facility, its glowing form visible even in the dim light. It moved silently, slipping past makeshift defenses as if they weren't there. "Everyone, get down!" Minsu shouted, grabbing a rifle and firing at the assassin. Bullets ricocheted harmlessly off Zixor's metallic scales. Ji-eun stepped forward, her heart racing. This time she wouldn't run. As Zixor lunged at her, she sidestepped with unnatural speed, dodging its attack. Her hands clenched into fists as adrenaline surged through her veins. "You want me?" she growled. "Come and get me." The battle was intense. Zixor unleashed a barrage of blades and energy blasts, each strike narrowly missing Ji-eun as she twisted and ducked. Hae-jun activated his modified drone, sending it buzzing toward the assassin. And the drone emitted a high-pitched frequency that disrupted Zixor's systems, causing it to stagger momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, Ji-eun charged forward, delivering a powerful punch that sent Zixor crashing into a wall. Sparks flew as the assassin struggled to recover, but Ji-eun didn't give it a chance. With a final blow, she disabled Zixor, leaving it motionless on the ground. Breathing heavily, Ji-eun turned to see her companions, staring at her in awe. Even Minsu looked impressed. "You're not just human anymore," he said quietly. "You're something else entirely." Later that night, Hae-jun examined Zixor's remains, hoping to extract useful data. What he found shocked him. Embedded within the assassin's core was a map, a detailed layout of a Vrylith outpost located beneath the Pacific Ocean. "Yeah, well, this is our next move," Hae-jun announced, showing the others. "If we can infiltrate this place, we might learn more about their plans and how to stop them." Minsu crossed his arms. "It won't be easy, but if anyone can pull it off, it's us." Ji-eun nodded, determination burning in her eyes. "We'll hit them where it hurts. For everyone they've hurt, for every life they've taken, we'll make them pay." As the group prepared for their mission, Ji-eun couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The Vryliths had underestimated Earth, and now they would face the consequences. Humanity might be battered and bruised, but it was far from defeated. And Ji-eun? She was ready to show the universe exactly what humans were capable of. The plan was risky, but they had no choice. Armed with the map extracted from Zixor's remains, Ji-eun and her companions set out for the Vrylith outpost hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean. The journey would take them through treacherous waters and into the heart of enemy territory. It wasn't just about gathering intelligence anymore. It was about striking back, showing the aliens that humanity wouldn't go down without a fight. Hae-jun spent days preparing for the mission. Using parts scavenged from alien wreckage and his own ingenuity, he upgraded the group's equipment. His modified drone became a key tool, capable of jamming Vrylith signals and scouting ahead undetected. He also created makeshift weapons infused with alien tech, hoping they could level the playing field against their technologically superior foes. Minsu focused on strategy, drilling the team on tactics and escape routes. Though he rarely spoke about his past, it was clear he had seen combat before. His calm demeanor under pressure inspired confidence in the others. Even Ji-eun, who still struggled to fully understand her newfound abilities, felt more prepared with Minsu guiding them. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," Minsu reminded them as they boarded a small submarine Hae-jun had salvaged. "We're fighting for everyone who can't." Ji-eun nodded, gripping the edge of her seat as the sub descended into the depths. The water grew darker and colder, pressing against the vessel like an invisible weight. She tried to steady her breathing, focusing on the task ahead. Whatever horrors awaited them in the outpost, she knew they couldn't turn back now. When they reached the underwater facility, it loomed like a monstrous shadow against the ocean floor. The structure was massive, its metallic surface glinting faintly in the sub's headlights. Strange symbols etched into the walls pulsed with faint light, giving the impression of something alive rather than mechanical. "This place gives me the creeps," Heijun muttered, adjusting the controls. "Stay focused," Minsu said sharply. "We don't have time for fear." Using the map, they located an entrance partially concealed by coral and debris. Heijun maneuvered the sub close enough for them to disembark, then activated the drone to scout ahead. The tiny machine zipped through the airlock, disabling security systems and clearing a path for the team. Inside, the outpost was eerily silent. Rows of glowing pods lined the walls, each containing human captives suspended in some kind of stasis fluid. Ji-Yun's stomach churned as she realized what the Vryliths were doing. They weren't just attacking Earth, they were experimenting on its people. "These monsters," she whispered, her fist clenched tightly. Minsu placed a hand on her shoulder. "We'll free them, but first we need to find the control room. That's where we'll learn what they're planning and how to stop it." They moved cautiously, avoiding patrols of insectoid drones that patrolled the corridors. Heijun's jamming device kept them hidden from detection, but one wrong move could alert the entire facility. Tension hung thick in the air as they navigated deeper into the outpost. Finally, they reached the control room. It was a vast chamber filled with holographic displays and strange machinery humming with energy. At the center stood a large console, its surface covered in alien glyphs. Heijun immediately got to work, trying to decipher the controls. "I think I can access their database," he said, typing furiously on a portable terminal. "But it's going to take some time." As Heijun worked, Ji-Yun kept watch at the door. Her heightened senses allowed her to detect even the slightest sound, giving the group precious seconds to react if danger approached. Sure enough, the faint hum of approaching drones soon reached her ears. "They're coming," she warned, stepping forward to block the entrance. Minsu joined her, raising his weapon. "Hold them off as long as you can. Heijun, hurry!" The battle was fierce. Waves of drones poured into the room, their glowing eyes fixed on the intruders. Ji-Yun fought with a ferocity she didn't know she possessed, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to dodge attacks and strike back with precision. Minsu provided covering fire, his rifle barking loudly as he took down drone after drone. Despite their efforts, the numbers seemed endless. Just when it seemed they might be overwhelmed, Heijun shouted, "Got it! I've downloaded everything we need. Let's go!" Without hesitation, the group retreated, following the drone's lead back toward the airlock. Behind them, alarms blared, and reinforcements flooded the corridors. They ran as fast as they could, adrenaline fueling every step. Reaching the submarine, they climbed aboard and sealed the hatch just as Vrylith soldiers burst into the docking bay. Heijun fired up the engines and the sub shot away from the outpost, leaving chaos in its wake. Back on the surface, and the team reviewed the data Heijun had retrieved. What they discovered chilled them to the bone. The Vryliths weren't just conquering planets, they were harvesting resources and life forms to create biological weapons. Earth was merely another target in their relentless campaign of domination. But there was more. Buried within the files was information about the Vrylith homeworld, including coordinates and details about their society. For the first time, humanity had a chance to strike back, not just defensively, but offensively. "We can use this," Ji-Yun said, her voice firm. "If we hit them where it hurts, maybe we can end this war before it destroys us completely." Minsu nodded. "It won't be easy, but if anyone can pull it off, it's you." Heijun grinned despite the gravity of the situation. "Nah, looks like we're building a spaceship next." Ji-Yun smiled faintly, though her mind was already racing with possibilities. The road ahead would be dangerous, perhaps even impossible. But she knew one thing for certain. Humanity wasn't done fighting. Not yet. The revelation about the Vrylith homeworld ignited a fire within humanity. Armed with the data stolen from the underwater outpost, Ji-Yun and her team became symbols of hope, a beacon for those still clinging to survival. News of their mission spread quickly among resistance groups worldwide. uniting fractured nations under a single goal: to strike back at the invaders who had brought so much suffering to Earth. Hyjin threw himself into building weapons and vehicles capable of challenging the Vryliths in space. Using alien tech salvaged from previous battles, he designed sleek mechs piloted by skilled soldiers. These machines were faster, stronger, and more resilient than anything humanity had ever created. Among the pilots was Yunji, a fearless young woman whose sharp instincts made her a natural leader. Her determination inspired others, earning her respect even from hardened veterans like Minsu. Jiun trained alongside the pilots, learning how to harness her abilities in combat. Though she wasn't a soldier by nature, her enhanced reflexes and strength made her an invaluable asset. Hyejun modified a mech specifically for her, integrating nanobot technology to amplify her powers further. When she stepped into the cockpit for the first time, she felt a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. This was no longer just about survival, it was about taking the fight to the enemy. As preparations intensified, tensions rose aboard the Vrylith warship orbiting Earth. Commander Calyx paced the bridge, his glowing eyes narrowed with frustration. Reports of human resistance had reached him, along with news of the destruction of the underwater outpost. The humans were proving far more resourceful and dangerous than he had anticipated. "This cannot continue," Calyx growled, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Their defiance must be crushed immediately." Vrax, his second-in-command, hesitated before speaking. "Commander, perhaps we should reconsider our strategy. Their adaptability is unprecedented. If we underestimate them again, I will not tolerate failure," Calyx snapped, slamming a clawed hand onto the console. "Prepare the fleet. We will obliterate their remaining forces and ensure nothing survives on that wretched planet." Meanwhile, Zixer had been repaired and upgraded, its biomechanical body now deadlier than ever. Calyx ordered it to lead the assault personally, determined to eliminate Geoan once and for all. On Earth, the final battle loomed closer. Resistance leaders gathered in a hidden command center deep beneath the mountains, strategizing their counterattack. Maps of the solar system covered the walls, marked with potential routes and choke points. Jiun stood at the forefront, her presence inspiring confidence in everyone around her. "We've come too far to give up now," she said, addressing the assembled group. "They think we're weak, that we'll crumble under pressure. But they're wrong. Humanity has always found a way to rise above adversity. And this time will be no different." Cheers erupted from the crowd, but Jiun knew the road ahead would be perilous. The Vrylith armada outnumbered them 10-1, and their technology was far superior. Victory wouldn't come easily, but it was possible. When the day of the attack arrived, Earth's forces launched into space, their ships forming a ragtag fleet united by desperation and courage. Pilots climbed into their mechs, engines roaring to life as they prepared to face the enemy head-on. Jiun took her place in her customized mech, feeling the hum of energy coursing through its systems. Beside her, Yunji gave a thumbs up, her expression resolute. "Let's show them what we're made of," Yunji said over the comms. The battle began with a deafening clash. Vrylith ships unleashed torrents of energy beams, lighting up the void like fireworks. Earth's fighters dodged and weaved, retaliating with everything they had. Mechs darted between larger vessels, targeting weak points and disabling enemy weapons. Despite being outnumbered, humanity fought with unrelenting ferocity. Ji-un led a daring charge toward the Vrylith flagship, flanked by Yunji and several other pilots. Their objective was clear: infiltrate the ship and confront Commander Calyx directly. As they approached, waves of alien drones swarmed to intercept them, but Ji-un's enhanced reflexes allowed her to dodge attacks with ease. She countered with devastating blows, her mech slicing through enemies like a blade through paper. Inside the flagship, chaos reigned. Alarms blared as explosions rocked the hull, and Vrylith soldiers scrambled to defend their territory. Ji-un, Yunji, and Minsu breached the airlock, fighting their way deeper into the ship. Every corridor was a battleground, every corner a potential ambush. Finally, they reached the bridge. There, standing amidst a flurry of holographic displays, was Commander Calyx. His towering form radiated menace, his glowing eyes fixed on the intruders. Behind him stood Zixor, its metallic scales gleaming ominously. "You dare challenge us?" Calyx hissed, raising a clawed hand. You are nothing but insects compared to the Vrillith Empire. Ji-Yun stepped forward, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. We may be small, but we're not afraid. You picked the wrong planet to mess with. With that, the battle began. Calyx lunged at Ji-Yun, his movements swift and brutal. She countered with equal speed, her mech's enhanced systems allowing her to keep pace. Nearby, Minsu engaged Zixor, trading blows with the biomechanical assassin while Yunji provided covering fire. The fight was intense, each side refusing to yield. Sparks flew as metal clashed against metal, and the air crackled with energy. Ji-Yun pushed herself to her limits, drawing on every ounce of strength and skill she possessed. Finally, she saw an opening. With a powerful kick, she sent Calyx stumbling backward, then delivered a crushing blow that shattered his armor. Defeated, Calyx collapsed to the ground, his glowing eyes dimming. This isn't over, he rasped before falling silent. Zixor, sensing its master's defeat, attempted one last desperate attack, but Ji-Yun was ready. With a decisive strike, she disabled the assassin permanently, leaving it motionless on the floor. Exhausted but victorious, Ji-Yun and her companions regrouped on the bridge. Outside, the tide of the battle had turned. Earth's forces pressed their advantage, driving the Vrillith fleet into retreat. For the first time since the invasion began, hope flickered in the hearts of humanity. As they made their way back to their ships, Ji-Yun paused to look out at the stars. The universe was vast and full of dangers, but she knew one thing for certain. Humanity had proven itself stronger than anyone, including the Vrilliths, had expected. The Vrillith fleet retreated, their ships disappearing into the depths of space like shadows fading at dawn. Humanity had won, for now. The victory was bittersweet, as the scars of war remained etched across the planet. Cities lay in ruins, families were torn apart, and countless lives had been lost. Yet amidst the devastation, there was hope. For the first time, humanity had faced an enemy from beyond the stars and emerged victorious. Ji-Yun stood on the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean, the same spot where Zixor had attacked her weeks earlier. The waves crashed against the rocks below, their rhythm steady and unchanging. She felt a strange sense of peace despite everything that had happened. Her hands, once ordinary, now carried the weight of extraordinary power and responsibility. Haijun joined her, holding 2 cups of steaming tea. He handed one to Ji-Yun and sat down beside her, his expression thoughtful. You did it, he said softly. You saved us. Ji-Yun shook her head. Not just me. Everyone fought together. Without people like Minsu, Yunji, and even you, we wouldn't have made it this far. Haijun smiled faintly. Still, you're different now. Stronger, smarter. You're kind of amazing. Ji-Yun chuckled, though her smile didn't reach her eyes. I don't feel amazing. I just feel tired and scared. What if they come back? What if there are more out there? They might, Haijun admitted, but we'll be ready. We've learned so much from them. Their tech, their tactics. We're not the same humans they underestimated before. In the aftermath of the battle, Earth began the long process of rebuilding. Nations worked together to restore infrastructure, heal wounds, and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. Resistance leaders became heroes, celebrated for their bravery and sacrifice. Among them was Minsu, who dedicated himself to training new recruits, ensuring humanity would never again be caught unprepared. Yunji, meanwhile, took charge of Earth's newly formed Interstellar Defense Force. Pilots who had fought in the final battle became instructors, teaching others how to operate the advanced mechs Haijun had designed. Their goal was clear: to protect Earth and explore the universe, seeking allies and knowledge to safeguard their future. For Ji-Yun, life returned to a semblance of normalcy, but nothing was truly the same. She continued her work as a marine biologist, studying the effects of alien technology on Earth's ecosystems. Her encounters with the nanobots had given her abilities beyond comprehension, but she refused to let them define her. Instead, she used them to help others, becoming a symbol of resilience and strength. Haijun stayed by her side, always tinkering with gadgets and machines. His innovations transformed Earth's defenses, making them stronger than ever. Together, they built tools that could detect alien activity light years away, ensuring no surprise attack would catch them off guard again. One evening, Ji-eun received a message from Min-soo. It was an invitation to join him and Yoon-ji at a memorial ceremony honoring those who had fallen during the war. Thousands gathered under the night sky, their faces illuminated by candles held aloft. Speeches were given, stories shared, and tears shed. When it was Ji-eun's turn to speak, she stepped forward, her voice steady despite the emotions swirling inside her. "We lost so much," she began, looking out at the crowd. "But we gained something too. Something greater than any weapon or piece of technology. We found courage, unity, hope. The Vryliths thought they could crush us because we were small, because we were human. But they forgot one thing. Humanity isn't defined by size or strength. It's defined by our ability to stand together, to fight for what matters most. Today we honor those who gave everything to protect that spirit, and tomorrow we continue building a world worthy of their sacrifice." Her words echoed through the silence, met with applause and cheers. As the ceremony ended, Ji-eun walked among the crowd, shaking hands and sharing quiet moments with survivors. Though the pain of loss lingered, so did the determination to move forward, to rebuild, to grow, and to thrive. Weeks later, Hae-jun called Ji-eun to his workshop. He had been working tirelessly on a new project, and his excitement was palpable. "I think I've figured it out," he said, gesturing toward a sleek spacecraft parked in the corner. "What is it?" Ji-eun asked, stepping closer. "It's a prototype," Hae-jun explained, "a ship capable of traveling faster than anything we've built before. With this, we can explore beyond our solar system, find allies, learn about other civilizations." Ji-eun ran her hand along the smooth surface of the ship, feeling a spark of curiosity ignite within her. "You really think we're ready for that?" "We have to be," Hae-jun replied. "The universe is big, Ji-eun. There's so much out there we don't understand. If we stay here waiting for the next threat, we'll never know what else is possible." Ji-eun nodded slowly. He was right. Humanity couldn't afford to live in fear, not after everything they'd overcome. "When do we leave?" "Whenever you're ready," Hae-jun said with a grin. And the day of departure arrived sooner than expected. Ji-eun, Hae-jun, Min-soo, and Yoon-ji boarded the ship, accompanied by a small crew of scientists and engineers. As the engines roared to life, Ji-eun looked out the window at Earth growing smaller in the distance. She thought about all they had endured, the battles fought, the lives lost, the sacrifices made. They had proven themselves stronger than anyone could have imagined, but the journey was far from over. The universe held countless mysteries and dangers, waiting to be uncovered. As the ship entered hyperspace, Ji-eun turned to her companions. "No matter what happens next," she said, "we face it together." They nodded, united by a shared purpose. Humanity had taken its first step into the stars, driven not by conquest or greed, but by hope and curiosity. When Ji-eun knew the road ahead would be difficult, perhaps even perilous, but she also knew one thing for certain.